Hello everyone, welcome to another weekly wrap-up edition of the Argentina Brief. Let's get straight into it. So Congress passed a landmark reform to the country's Glacier protection law, and it's pretty much a game changer for the mining sector. There was a 137 to 111 vote in the lower house, and lawmakers handed provincial governors the power to decide whether a glacier is a key water source. If they say that it isn't or surrounding areas aren't, then mining companies can move into that area. Thousands of formations that were previously protected under a federal registry are no longer automatically shielded. The amendment to the law had been requested by mining companies like BHP and Glencore, and many industry experts suggest that the previous regulation was essentially prohibitive. Not for nothing, Argentina has had huge mining potential all these years, but no large investments have been made. It's also worth noting that capital controls since 2011 haven't helped, as well as the country's recurring economic crises. Argentina currently has one of the most attractive copper reserves in the world, and exports could rise above $5 billion by 2030. This progress on the legislative front means that two mega projects worth a combined $28 billion are now closer to reality. In any case, the reform signals that this government is serious about turning the country into a global mining player. And on the financial front, the central bank is on a buying streak, 64 consecutive sessions since the year began, purchasing dollars on the foreign exchange market. On Friday alone, it snapped up $457 million, which was the second largest single-day purchase since the Milei administration took office. Year to date, the central bank has accumulated over $5 billion in purchases, and analysts expect the pace to accelerate now in April as the soy export season begins. And a top Wall Street bank is saying that Argentina could post a current account surplus this year, 3 years ahead of what the IMF had projected. The driver for Morgan Stanley is record exports in agriculture, energy, and mining. That means the export of goods could top $100 billion for the first time in Argentine history. The same bank is bullish on the country's dollar bonds and sees more upside if commodity prices stay at these levels. And just a quick update on other things that happened this week. Manufacturing data came in from the INDEC with a 9% drop year on year in February, with Milei asking for patience and promising an economic recovery in general terms as of April. And the central bank loosened some capital controls for exporters and foreign investors, but it did close an arbitrage loophole between the MEP and CCL exchange rates. March inflation came in Buenos Aires City, and it clocked in at 3% monthly and was driven by fuel and utility costs. At the national level, we'll have the index March print this Tuesday, and we'll also be paying attention to the IMF spring meetings in Washington, which start this week, with much expectation surrounding the approval of Argentina's second program revision. Caputo and the central bank's Bausili are both expected to be in the U.S. capital. That's your week in Argentina, so I'll see you next weekend. I hope you have a great week.